closing the sale, the most important portion of the whole sales cycle, because you could do everything great, but if you don't eventually get the business, it was all for naught. But closing is not necessarily done at the end of the cycle. It starts in the very beginning of the cycle. So if you properly set up the process, you're going to be able to be closing throughout the process. Salespeople are afraid of the no because it's so definitive and they have trouble with it. So they kind of let the process go on and on way too long. So what you've got to do is you've got to make sure you set up expectations from the very first time you meet with a prospect. And basically the conversation goes something like this. I'm not sure whether or not this is a good fit. We're having a conversation today. Naturally, I've got some questions for you. Obviously, you've got some questions for me. And typically, after we talk today, you're either going to say, yes, let's move forward. No, this isn't a good fit, or we'll figure out a defined next step. And all I'm going to ask from you right from the start, if at any point in time you don't think this is going to be a good fit, you're going to let me know. And I'll promise you, if at any point in time I don't think I'm the best fit for you, I'm going to let you know, because the last thing I want to do is waste any of your time. And I ask the prospect, are you okay with that? So I set the expectation right from the start, because next to a yes, a quick no is best. Because if the cycles are dragging on way too long, you're going to have a full pipeline, but you're going to find your close ratio is not where it needs to be. So I encourage the no's, because if you get a no at the very beginning of the process, you save all that other time. So for instance, I knew this process was going to be a 6-month sales process, and at the end of the 6 months, you were going to get the no. When would be the very best time to get that no? At the very beginning of the process. The customer is always right, but they're not always right for you. So instead of trying to fit those round pegs in the square hole and try to make customers fit into your profile, you want to make sure that you're qualifying them for you. You want to make sure that when you're closing, it starts at the very beginning of the process, you're closing throughout the process, and you're making sure that you're always presenting the solution in the context of the problem. If you're not doing that, you're going to have a lot of difficulty closing the business.